Good afternoon, this is Brent with Lykins Motorsports. This is I think it's a 2000 Ford Explorer 5.0. Upper plenum changed a little bit since the Fox body days. So every so often I do a dyno mule, and last one was supposed to have been a Coyote, and that was just not really a good business decision on my part. I guess that's out of my wheelhouse, as they say. So between that and the fact that I still haven't received any emails on those intake cam gears that I ordered last August, and without those you can't put a Coyote together. And mingle all of that with the fact that there wouldn't have been much market for a carbureted distributor driven Coyote. So I kind of made the executive decision to get rid of those. I went ahead and assembled the short block, and it's on its way to a customer in Iowa, and the heads are headed for the West Coast. So everybody's happy. This is in my wheelhouse, and if you guys have been keeping up with, we did a live video session several weeks ago, and we were talking about what would be good data for me in terms of providing camshafts and just data in terms of, what head flows do what and that sort of thing. So I picked this 5.0 up pretty cheap, and it's in really good shape. I don't see any leaks on it anywhere. It had the factory flex plate and everything on it, and it doesn't look like it's been into, but we'll know later on. So the difference between Fox body stuff and the later model Explorer stuff is it's got a crank trigger. You can see the reluctor wheel down there. That's kind of the only difference, with the exception of the 4-bar heads. Those are commonly referenced as 4-bar heads. They are GT40P heads, but all in all, it's a pretty clean little engine. So I haven't determined exactly what's going to be the plan of action, but I think we're going to do some camshaft testing for a little bit, throw a carbureted intake on it, and I can change cams pretty quickly, especially if I change to some link bar lifters. That'll let us get some more data for the guys that call in wanting cams for their Fox body Mustang or such. And we may even start with some of the alphabet cams from Ford Racing, the E303 or B303, and then show how those can be improved upon with a custom cam. Have pretty high visions for this one. We'll see how that turns out. The passenger side intake manifold zipped off real quick, so I'll get these off here after a while. I'll get the motor mounts off and maybe start taking the upper end off of it. But that's where we are, and I may have another live session and just get some ideas on what would help you guys out. Alright, curiosity got the best of me, so I pulled the oil filter off of the engine. Don't see anything alarming, just some crud floating in the bottom of the oil filter. I don't see any. The oil looks good, like you know, for 106,000 miles. It's not super black or anything. So everything looks good there. I'm making a mess of my workbench, but I went through and spread all the pleats apart. Nothing warrants cutting the whole filter media out. I don't see anything at all in between the pleats. So I think we're gonna have a good engine on our hands. All of our exhaust ports look good. Don't see any oil running out or anything like that. Nothing looks like it's been excessively rich, except for these little spiders who have made a home in number 8 exhaust port. I'm gonna leave them in there. See this side. Everything looks good. So fuel injected motors usually do okay. Again, I think we're gonna be in pretty good shape here. Real quick before I sign off. So I've got some core engines in here before. I did a 350 Pontiac several years ago and got the core engine in and got it up on the engine stand, and it would not turn over to save my life. I pulled, you can see all this on YouTube, have the videos, pulled the heads off of it, and it was rusted up solid. It wasn't going to move. So once bitten, twice shy, right? So here's this one. It turns up freely or turns over freely and has good compression, so it's wanting to kick the breaker bar back at me. This engine only was supposed to have had 106,000 miles on it, so it's just now broken in. Lots of guys mess with these engines and say when they get the heads off of them, which I've seen that too. I had, if you remember the 311 cubic inch dyno mule, it was a Ford Explorer 5.0 to begin with, and it still had the crosshatch in the cylinders and everything else. So I don't expect any less out of this one. So we had Project Junkie Junk several years ago. My buddy Ross said you ought to name this one JJ Jr. So we're gonna go with JJ Jr. or Triple J. So stay tuned for more testing with this guy. And I'll keep you guys in the loop. We'll make some decisions together. Hope you guys are having a good week. This is Brent with Lykins Motorsports, and I'll see you soon.